Hey, Toy Fair just happened, and I hate almost everything. Almost.
I'm Rich.
I'm Othello.
I'm Aaron.
I'm back. I'm John.
All right, and by our fandoms combined, that was pretty good. By our
That's pretty
fandoms combined, we're Fandom United. So as you all know, Toy Fair was this past weekend, and I try not to be the cantankerous old coot, but I'm probably...
No, you don't.
Okay, no,
No,
I
you
know.
don't.
I relish
you
my
flaunt
role.
that like it's a medal.
I'm really disappointed in a lot of toy manufacturers. I don't like reruns, and that seems like that's a lot of what we got. But anyway, let's start with
So pretty much
Rich.
the theme of Toy Fair this year, there's a lot of cool stuff that got announced. There really is. But the overall theme seemed what's old is new. Great meme that's out there that somebody did that looks like an old JCPenney's catalog where, it had, from the 80s where it has like the toys and everything. And it was all new pictures of these toys that were re-releases of stuff that came back from 1980. You had the Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters from the animated series. You had the Empire Strikes Back figures, and then the new He-Man line. That's
I hated. I don't remember if it was the Star Wars or the He-Man line had retro collection on the packaging. Kiss my whole.
New for 20.
New for 20 retro collection. Okay, so and before I get into the specifics of various lines, one thing that struck me, and I'm coming to Saga Toys a lot as I do. My buddy owns the store. A lot of collectors come in here. It sucks.
It's gonna kill a collector.
For me to think about the collectors that like to come in and get these OG items,
Right.
And then for Hasbro or Mattel or whoever to kind of re-release these things and just say, oh, it's the retro collection and everything else on the packaging pretty much looks the same. I just think it's
it's a slap in the face to the people that have been collecting it for
I was
years.
gonna say, I thought it was a dick move, but my kids are probably watching and they don't want to hear me say that.
That's probably a better way to put it. But yeah, it is. I mean, we saw it with the
Star
the
Wars,
vintage
right?
line that came out, the 40th anniversary stuff for the A New Hope or the original Star Wars movie, which there were people who collected it, but do you want to you can buy a brand new version of this figure for between $10 to $20, or you can buy the vintage one that actually
I'm sorry.
it appreciated in value over 40 years. Now it's
and here's
brought
my
it back
thing.
down.
And the funny
Right.
thing is, the new ones are probably better quality than the ones that...
Not better quality, but it's newer plastic.
Newer
So
plastic.
I mean, you don't have
Do they add more articulation to them?
Nope.
No.
They use the exact same mold. They actually took a retro figure and made a new mold off of the old figures. So you actually lose a little bit of the quality of the sculpt that was there from the original figure. But like Princess Leia, if you buy that original Princess Leia, she's got a white outfit, white cape, and pistol. Well, most people rip the cape, lost the pistol, and she ain't white anymore. It's dingy, off-white outfit. So you can have, if you find a really, really bright white outfit and it has the gun and the cape, you're talking, you're spending 60 plus for that loose figure. Well, now you can buy a brand new one that looks better than what anything that would have been made 40 years ago.
For 20.
So what have you seen
When it was originally
So
7.
I know all of these are rehashes, but what have you seen with like the Star Wars? Have people stopped buying the old stuff, or are they kind of like this? Is
It's kind of a
stupid?
two-edged sword, because there are people who it got them to, oh hey, thinking about that line again. So even people who would have started with that, I think that they probably would have filled in the characters that they didn't have if they started doing it. So it could spark people collecting the old stuff, but I think ultimately it's hurting the value of those said figures. I mean, because people could steal the accessories off that and put it with an old one,
And
put
you
it on
never
eBay, and people will not know the
And
difference.
You will not know, and that's the other thing too is people trying to sell something vintage as complete.
Yeah.
When it's got like new accessories on it, and it's not vintage, really 100%.
So that's what I see happening with They did an Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary stuff, which no surprise there that they did that. Hasbro owns old Kenner, so they did the retro Ghostbusters line from the real Ghostbusters line.
I hate that line.
Which, it's cool seeing them on the packs and everything, but the part that's always broke off the original ones was the proton packs. They had that wiry piece of
Used to
plastic
twist the
thing
and used to
that
spin
you
around.
spin it around. Well,
And then that part break off.
most of the time you don't find those
find
that are
those.
still intact. So now people can go out and buy a brand new one, and you're going to see those proton packs end up on vintage figures, and people are going to jack the price up more than likely.
See, I was a Sid. I killed my guys. I blew them up and set them on fire and all that. So
I think I did that with
Horrible
everybody but
person.
Egon. That was my dude. Still my dude.
Okay, but see, so let's talk about Ghostbusters here for a minute, because let's just I'm always a bad before the good thing. So let's talk about the bad real quick.
you brought up that only people buying toys are adults at this point. Like, if Ghostbusters doesn't prove that, then nothing does, because
Right.
there ain't a
These
kid
kids don't know who Ghostbusters are.
born before 2000
Before
or after
2000.
2000.
I had
You talking about after 87?
Okay.
I had a
Yeah,
6-year-old in here tonight.
No, there
Yes.
are kids who the parents have,
Yes.
showed
That's it.
Ghostbusters
Parents
to.
who have shown their kids Ghostbusters, and kids might get into it, but there aren't any kids
But they
that
showed
like
the
we
movie,
were.
but they don't know
that
about
just-
the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, nobody knows about
Right,
like,
but not
except
because there's nobody who's allowed to market toys to kids anymore and get toy cartoons on Saturday mornings anymore. That's why. But even let's just talk about these figures for a second. These new real Ghostbusters retro figures suck. I think they're ugly. I
It
don't
looks
think-
just like the original one.
I don't even think they look as good as the originals.
No, it's the same. They look
So you're
identical.
saying the old
to
ones
it.
suck,
the,
too?
the old ones suck too. They look exactly.
That's right,
like
and they could
I promise.
you couldn't bend their arms or their legs either, and they were taller than Star Wars figures. Oh man,
The only one I thought was cool. Only thing I thought was cool was Ecto One.
Oh.
With the flip
That's
out.
a different line.
But that's
that was a different line.
The Ecto One that he's talking about in the new line, they did okay. So they have
the movie line.
They have the retro
No, that's not the movie
collection.
Movie line looks amazing.
Then they have a collection that looks like the animated characters from the original line, but they've got all the same color suits. They made it more accurate to the movies, so it's based off
that's
the
the one I
movie, but
did
it's
see.
animated.
I hate
and
that.
they've got a great Ecto One in it that slides
Yeah,
open.
with the slides open. I use those
It's
for
got
my,
the door.
I use those for my Marvel toys. Like,
Yes, but
have-
none of the
have
none
Wolverine
of the
coming out sliding down my
figures,
Ecto One.
None of the figures look good. They don't even look like good animated representations of those characters. Not even a little bit. It's
for you to decide.
but let's get on to the good. The movie
The
line,
movie line
though.
looked amazing.
Ooh.
I was digging those. Like,
They did way better with it than what I think Mattel did.
Oh, well, except
NECA
for the
had really
Sigourney
good.
Weaver, though.
The 7-inch NECA ones were amazing. The sculpture great. NECA did the thing where they had the you buy all 15 and it builds the rooftop.
Yeah, that was
which
cool.
that was a
From
cool
Zool?
diorama.
Oh,
Then
Okay.
Mattel got a 6-inch line that was going at the same time as I said NECA. It was Diamond Select, but at the same time that Diamond Select thing was going, and the sculpts weren't nearly as good as the Diamond Select ones. And Hasbro's got this coming out. The first pictures I saw a leak of them, I was like, it looks comparable to the Mattel stuff. Once they did the live stream for the Hasbro panel, those looked amazing.
The Ghostbusters.
They did some cool
themselves,
stuff with that line.
It's like they got all the Ghostbusters to come in for face scans, but they couldn't get Sigourney Weaver to come in for face scans because her.
Yeah, I agree.
her
That one
figure
didn't look
looks
good.
Horrid.
Sigourney
it does not look
Weaver's
like her at all.
face does not look anything like it did
No.
back when she made that
But
movie.
the rest
either.
of them looks like
Well, it
Ray.
was
It
possessed.
looks like Egon.
I mean, it wasn't like
True.
It still was Sigourney Weaver. Stop it. You still,
Trying to
you
help
still
her
got
out.
Winston. You still got Venkman. Those action figures look like those gentlemen. It's uncanny. But then that Sigourney Weaver figure was rough. Really rough. Possessed or not, that figure was rough. And, but other than that, I thought it looked good. I think it's...
Maybe it was a walk of shame, Sigourney Weaver.
Wow.
she was possessed. Okay, moving on. They also had that 1-to-1 prop replica of
That's
the
what I was just
wand.
going to talk about. The 1-to-1 prop replica of the Proton Pack.
It wasn't the
cool, too.
Proton Tag. It was Egon's something one. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I mean it's.
I thought I saw the Proton Pack too. I know they got one for kids,
Yeah, they got the littler one for kids.
but I thought they had one for the big kids.
But this is the one that if you saw the live, I don't know if you guys watched the live stream or not, but when they had Ivan and Jason out on stage and they brought that out and they got to kind of check it out in front of the crowd. First time they saw it, don't know if it was or not, but their reception of it was very positive and actually a real cool thing that they did after that when they brought out the personalized action figures of them. Which I thought was kind of cool that they made that as, hey, thank you for giving us Ghostbusters. Here's you as Ghostbusters. I just thought that was kind of cool. So.
That's a good move. That's a good look.
I agree.
So,
And hey, good way to keep that
I saw what
the
you did
licensing
there.
rights for
Yeah.
that going forward.
And hey, buddy,
What did Mattel give you?
Just to be devil advocate, though, the reason they're doing this is essentially because they're not getting any money from the collectibles. Like, that's all rehash money that's going to somebody else, so they want that money back.
Yeah, but okay. There just seems to be a
It's
lack
wrong.
of creativity. It started with Hollywood, and now it seems like it's moving into other spaces like toys and, God help me, music. See, I'm just the old guy sitting on the porch. Yeah, like, what are these kids listening to? But there just seems to be a lack of
I'll pee in your Wheaties in
creativity.
a minute.
It does. I mean, if you look at the re-release, the retro release of the Ghostbusters, of Masters of the Universe, of Star Wars, of even the G.I. Joes, it's like, really? Come on, guys. You already did this. What's next? I will give them props for the 6-inch G.I. Joe line. I'm digging it. I can't wait to see the rest of them. I think I love me some G.I. Joe, and I think that could be the future of Joe. And you start throwing vehicles in there, all the Joes that they have available. Oh man, all the Joes that they have access to that they could do a 6-inch line on would just be, whew, man. I can't wait for Tomax and Zaymon.
I'm just glad that my G.I. Joe can now have a fighting chance against my X-Men.
No, they still gonna get decimated. I don't
I'm
care
just
what.
saying.
I don't care what
At
it
least
is.
their heights will be almost equal.
Their heights will be about
Sure.
the same.
So, okay,
like
real
a
quick,
bullet.
I'm going to jump ahead from
Go ahead.
from where we're at because right before we started recording, and I was showing you the pop line that came out, and you got really excited about those '90s pops that were coming out with Ice Cube and Notorious B.I.G.,
man.
Salt and Pepper.
I'm trying to
James
to
Brown.
cut back on my pops, man. I didn't want to buy pops and bring them in my house anyway, but they're like gremlins. 'Cause
You know what? They do multiply.
You find one like, oh, he's so cute, he's fuzzy. I'm gonna take him home, and then all of a sudden it's after midnight, and you feed one of them, and now my entire living room is covered in pops. I'm not. People come over to my house and it doesn't look like grown-ups live there. It's ridiculous. It's just bad. And now you're
I
gonna
know
give
where he
me,
gets most of them too.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder who.
What a-hole's feeding you that collection?
Right.
Freaking drug dealer.
It is.
He said, you got the new
Yeah,
pops, man.
Y'all guys,
Oh, you got them new pops.
Hey, wait, real
I got
talk.
these cheeseburgers, man.
Real talk though. I was in here earlier today, and a dude brought in a collection. I said, "Yo, what's in that box though?" hey, what's
Thank you,
that?
Dave Chappelle.
I was all looking like, oh, yo, I see that Jon Stewart in there. What's up? What's up? What else is in there? I was like, oh, new pops to add to the family. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here. My kids are hungry because I got like $2,000 worth of pops in my house.
We can't afford dinner tonight, kids. I just bought all the new
Yeah,
90s pops
yeah,
collection.
just go smell the pops. That's why I bought.
Go smell 'em.
That's why I bought the Captain Crunchman so y'all wouldn't be hungry. Just go smell him. It smells like Crunch
Oh,
berries.
wow.
A scratch and sniff Captain Crunch pop.
That's
But
funny.
Anyway, we can get back
Anyway.
to pops. I just wanted to bring that up because
the album cover pops
check you.
that they got coming out are amazing.
they are.
They are
They
amazing. They did a lot of hip hop albums for this first run of these, and I understand why. We were talking earlier, and because more hip hop artists put themselves on the cover of their albums than most other bands do.
Right.
So there's more cover art to choose from. and they chose some of the most iconic covers that they could get, and did like the ride or die case, and it's the whole thing is. I think they said you can take the Funko branding off, and then it's just a display case with it back there with the Funko, sitting there.
You're gonna do a Bone Thugs and Harmony Crossroads.
Man, I can't even.
Yeah, but
We said
it's on the list with everything that they
I hope
put out.
not. I thought
Uncle
we
Charles
said
in the sky.
I thought we said
Uncle Charles in the sky.
I thought we said iconic album covers.
That is an old grumpy man. I
Shots
personally
fired.
loved Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Oh my god.
Oh, they're back now, so you should be really excited. They're boneless thugs in harmony. I'm not even lying. Go look that up.
That's true.
Boneless. See, look at the sadness
Yeah,
on that
that's
man's
true.
face. Look at it. Look at him. Look at the disappointment in that man's
They
face.
went with something deep when they came up with that one.
Boneless thugs in harmony. Yes, they're back. Anyway, we're off. Aren't they a singing group now? I think they're a singing group now or something. Yeah.
Shut
So
up.
anyway, like I said, iconic album covers. You had a good idea about the Nirvana one though.
Yeah, but again, that's iconic.
Yeah, but still,
Iconography?
that would be really cool to do the background, like
the
have
baby.
a blue background or whatever, and just have a little Funko baby kind of floating in there with the little hook and the dollar in there.
Yeah.
Dude, that
You
would
know
be
an awful
awesome.
lot about that album cover there, my friend.
It was the '90s, dude. Who didn't listen to Nirvana? Come on, man. Like everybody was depressed and listening to Nirvana in the '90s. Like,
Again, what's old is new.
true
That's a
story.
good point.
True story.
Yeah, it seems like the whole show was kind of a throwback, nostalgia trip.
I don't.
Was there
I thought
anything?
I thought nostalgia trips were supposed to be fun.
Was there any?
It's fun.
That there, like it's why I said when you have the filter on, it's fun. When you have that nostalgia filter, but there is no nostalgia filter because it's new. It's not nostalgic. Here's a new toy to play with, even though it's an old toy. Like I said, most of the shows and stuff that I really enjoyed as a kid were fun because I have a nostalgia filter. If I go back and look at that stuff now, it's horrible.
Oh, it's bad.
It's horrible.
It's bad.
I thought Voltron was amazing
No,
as a kid.
nope.
Voltron was
It
horrible.
is.
Like,
You just leave it in there.
the new
It
Voltron.
is. Yeah.
The
It
new
is.
Voltron.
It is. It's
aces,
fine. You
but
just leave it in there. That's why I like.
That's why.
I have started watching Gargoyles.
Gargoyles
It
actually
carries.
does hold up.
Yeah, it holds up.
Still, well,
I didn't realize how many people they killed in that show, though. Oh
Really
my
though?
gosh!
I mean, because me and the kids tried watching it, and my boys got bored with it real quick. Like when we got
Really?
what was it, Disney Plus, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm out," and the boys just like took off. I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna watch it." You know what? I'm kind of bored with it too.
Really? I haven't
and
been
I didn't
bored.
think that I would really ever get bored with it because I remember loving that. I was in high school when that came out, and I remember digging it then.
I've been digging it. I mean, I just didn't notice how many
I'm learning
people
a lot
they
about you,
killed in that
John.
show.
Okay, but did you watch it back in the day?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess I was just, this is a cool cartoon.
I
mean,
will say though, I do appreciate. And we're still talking about nostalgia. I do appreciate, right? I do appreciate
That's
the '90s.
all on you guys. I did nothing this time.
You did. You brought up Toy Fair. I do appreciate the '90s X-Men.
We're talking about tonight's Toy Fair.
This is true.
Why you gotta be blaming?
Is there
Go
anything
ahead.
new?
Make
Is there
your point.
anything
Let's
new
get
at
back
Toy
to the
Fair?
list.
Yeah. Let's.
Is there
let's-
anything new at Toy
We
Fair?
talk about how awesome the '90s X-Men are later. Yeah, we were talking about that new Slave One. The new
Okay,
Slave One is cool.
that with the Star Wars stuff, there was a lot of lackluster for me. I mean, I'm a big Star Wars guy, and I was actually really disappointed with what they had. 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back, and it seemed like everything that they had to show at Toy Fair was Empire Strikes Back related or The Mandalorian. I was excited
Well,
about the
that's obvious.
Mandalorian stuff. We'll get to that in a second. But the only two things that I thought were really, really awesome that they announced at Toy Fair was the Slave One for the 3 3/4 figures. Thing looks massive. I love. It's a totally new design. The cockpit looks great. You can put 3 figures in it. It looks like it's gonna be a really, really awesome toy. And then
just for verification for those that don't know, what is Slave One?
that would be Boba Fett's spaceship.
Everybody who's watching the show knows. What
Okay,
Slave
just
One
trying to
is.
make sure. Just trying to make sure.
Most of
I
them
would
don't know
think
what
so.
Slave 2 is though. Boba Fett's other ship.
And one of Billy D's best lines ever in Robot Chicken. Not crazy about the name, but
Not crazy about the name, though.
anyway, right.
Oh, and the snowspeeder.
The Snowspeeder looks amazing. It's in the 6-inch black series, and it just looks so good. Comes with Dak Rattler, who was the Luke's co-pilot.
Is it before or after his canopy was blown out? I'm just sorry. Too soon?
It didn't have
Too
like an
soon?
alternate
Sorry.
dead head, but he gets left behind. But
Oh, that's
those
right, he
were the
gets
only two things that
crushed, that's
really
right.
looked amazing for the Empire stuff that was coming out. I mean, all the figures look like re-releases of stuff that we've already seen or what you would expect in line. There was nothing that just like really just wowed you. They've got the Empire retro line that's going to be the rehash of the 80s stuff again. There's a couple new figures that they did that they changed around, but nothing that was just amazing. Then the Mandalorian stuff is they had some new stuff there that looked really good. The one that I think everybody's going to lose their mind about is going to be the animatronic life-size
Baby Yoda.
Or the
the
child.
child.
Which
He's never going to be known as the child.
We mean
I
going to lose their mind over? They already lost them. The pre-orders went up and then down.
They were
It's
out quick.
Pre-orders are done.
Yeah, they were out.
How much was it?
I don't remember. I want to say it was 60. I don't remember.
Really? For the
I
animal
looked
consoles?
I looked
Wow.
at so many toys in
No.
like a 12-hour period. That yeah,
And
all
it
started-
went up for sale. It was sold out within an hour. I
What
thought.
I want out of the child is I want like a drone style hovering capsule for the child with the remote control.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I hope they make that.
It's only because you want to put your baby in.
I was
it.
about to say, are you
But
gonna
she
dress
won't
up
stay
Stella?
in it.
Are you gonna dress Stella up as
Yeah,
a baby?
she won't stay in it. It ain't gonna happen. Nice try though. Ain't gonna happen. Yeah, I mean that would be cool.
I won't be the only one that does it either.
I don't think it'll fly well though. Just not. It's just not aerodynamically feasible. It'll look stupid because it'll have the little arm, the little fans stick out. Anyway, but yeah, the Mandalorian is going to get the push, right? Because
Right.
that's their hottest property right now.
And the High Republic's gonna.
Until
That's why I think they haven't
the
focused
High
on
Republic. But man, we need to do a whole new show on the High Republic because you are way more excited about it than I am. I'm
We agree on
not
that.
a fan of what is about to go down with the High Republic.
I'm not
But-
necessarily a fan of it, but
But we will definitely
that's
have
another
to.
episode.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to cover that later. All right, so we got like 4 minutes left. Is there one thing that you want to mention before we sign out?
You know what? We had already talked about a lot of stuff coming from the Marvel Legends line a couple episodes back. There were some surprises that I did not know that were coming. The one that just like really blew me out of the water was the real scan technology Hugh Jackman.
Oh, for
Wolverine.
Logan? Yeah. It even
Wow.
has his small hands. That's right, I said it. Hugh Jackman's got tiny hands.
We got to wear like
Got to
the
wear his
actual
actual
screen used
claws.
claws on a toy pick I took at the one 2 years ago. It's like, wow, this dude had some freakishly small hands. They were just crazy.
Like, the only person you can give a never mind, because we're getting to politics. We ain't going to talk about our orange president.
don't
Anyway.
don't let him get into politics.
No,
It'll be
we're,
for
I'm
another
not.
hour
I'm
and a half.
not. But he does have really small hands. It's
So
funny.
they got the real scan figures that are coming out looked really really good, and then they also have Venomized Avengers line, which they're Venomized. They started it with the pops and it took off and it became really popular. They did like one wave and I'm like, okay, that's cool, it's over. And then they came out with like, hey, here's
No.
12 new more Venomized.
No, they did a whole storyline in the comics recently.
Well, and I get that, but
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's
that
why.
that was going to carry over into the toys. 'Cause I thought it was such a niche little
No, this
thing.
this storyline has
But
been
it's-
so big, and it's a major thing now. And they were
spreading
kinda,
like Corona.
Oh
Too soon.
wow!
Too soon or too early?
Okay.
Too early.
Anyway, so yeah, they
Wow.
got I'm not advocating for it spreading. I just you're saying it went, and I was making an analogy. Gee, why you gotta
Hey,
make?
I was okay with it. I was
Why,
okay
why are
with
you
it.
always trying to get people to write letters?
I'm just,
They always want to write.
Nobody writes letters
to you.
anymore, Grandpa.
emails. They always like he is always trying to get him to write to you.
No, I knew it was me.
Wow. Okay. No. Wow. The COVID-19 thing just completely threw me because that was. I have no couth, but that was even beneath me. That was. It wasn't even.
I don't know. I thought that was just right for YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. All right.
So yeah, and then they also had a really cool. Well, not really cool. It's neat that they did it. I don't know how cool that it is, but they have the Hydra agent. You know.
The Hydra Agent Army.
Where they did the Army Builder, where they released them, where it was like, if you got in and order them direct from Hasbro, they're like $15 a figure, which is, you know,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's a
like
good price,
$5
you know, $5 to
off,
$10
basically.
cheaper than what you're gonna find in a store, and yeah, that's, you know, if you're gonna build an army of, you know, Hydra guys, that's how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess then maybe in the next wave they'll do Shield agents. We'll find out. But that's all we're going to have for this week. I mean, we got so much more to talk about with Toy Fair, which we'll probably rant and talk about Toy Fair some more next week. But until then, remember, tell them F you.